Earlier this year, Apple held their big annual developer conference, where they presented new versions of the software for all their platforms, software that will become available for everyone in a week or two. Last year, it was almost exclusively about Apple Intelligence, Apple's AI features, which we still haven't received in many EU countries. But this year, the big news was a complete redesign of all the operating systems. A huge update to iPadOS, and especially interesting for many of us here in the EU, a confirmation that Apple Intelligence will soon be available in more countries. So let me tell you all about it. As mentioned, we will soon be getting new versions of all of Apple's operating systems. And don't be confused that we're jumping from iOS 18 to iOS 26, because we're also going from, for example, visionOS 2 to visionOS 26. Apple has decided to change the version numbers of all their operating systems so that from now on, they match the year in which the systems are available for the longest period. A bit like car manufacturers who launch next year's model in the fall will be getting version 26 in the fall of 2025. It might seem a bit confusing at first, but going forward, it will make it easier to know if you have the latest version installed, no matter which Apple device you use, because now they all run the same version number, unlike today, where we have iOS and iPadOS 18, macOS 15, and watchOS 11. So I actually think it makes good sense, not least because all editions of version 26 of the software will also get a new design, so there will be a greater degree of familiarity across devices. The new design is based on something Apple calls liquid glass, which they have generously sprinkled over almost every part of their various operating systems. The idea behind liquid glass is to make our digital devices feel more natural and organic. The various design elements are now built up from several layers of virtual glass, giving you a more spatial feel, and they work both in light mode and dark mode, or as almost transparent. The same goes for animations, menus, and so on. Whether it actually works, and whether it's an improvement, well, we'll have to see when we get the final version. In the first beta version, which was released to developers during the conference, there were still quite a few rough edges and things that don't immediately seem like an improvement. But hopefully Apple have fine-tuned the design a bit more before it rolls out to all of us. The new look, as mentioned, is coming to all Apple devices, so you'll get a more consistent experience whether you're using an iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, or Apple TV. Fortunately, there are more new features than just a new look. And unlike last year when everything was about Apple Intelligence, this year Apple has toned that part down a bit. Probably because they ended up not quite being able to deliver everything they promised. On the iPhone, we're getting an updated lock screen where the new glass design clock dynamically adapts to the wallpaper and ensures that the main subject is always visible, even when new notifications come in. It will now be possible to convert regular 2D photos into 3D, so you can get a 3D effect when you move the phone. And in the Photos app itself, your library and all the other folders and collections now each have their own area again, instead of being mixed together on the same screen as they are in iOS 18. And while we're talking about photos, Apple has done a complete redesign of the camera app, making it simpler, and the features you use most are now easily accessible. You still have access to all the advanced features, and I actually think they've become more manageable in the new design. For example, it's now easier to quickly switch between different video formats directly in the app. In the Phone app, you can now gather both favorites and recent calls on one page, and the Phone app should now be able to screen your calls before you answer and automatically keep track of your place in a phone queue, then notify you when you've gotten through. However, I don't think those two features will work for everyone, since they only support a limited selection of languages. iMessages now lets you change the background in your conversations, and you can also create small polls directly in a group chat and see the results in real time. In group chats, you can now also see who is typing a message, as the indicator now includes that person's icon. And yes, I know all those features have been available in other chat apps for a long time, but it's still nice that iMessage can now keep up. Apple also showed updates to Genmoji. That's the feature where you can generate new emojis using AI. Now you can combine existing emojis to create new ones, and you can also add additional descriptions. We still haven't gotten Genmoji in all EU countries yet because we're still waiting for Apple Intelligence. But Apple announced that by the end of the year, they will support a number of new languages, including several from the EU. That's great news because I was afraid we'd have to wait longer than that. However, it's still unclear whether this will give us access to all Apple Intelligence features or just some of them, but we'll find out later in the year. Another Apple Intelligence feature we haven't gotten yet is Image Playground, Apple's take on AI image generation. In iOS 26, it will get some extra styles to choose from, but it seems that Apple has recognized that they are far behind their competitors in this area, because as something new, you can now also use ChatGPT to generate images in Image Playground. Which version of ChatGPT's image generation this gives access to is not entirely clear, but it's great that we'll now have more options when the feature eventually comes to the new countries, which will hopefully also happen before the end of the year. iOS 26 also enables real-time translation, even on FaceTime calls, but for now it only works in a limited number of languages.
Écoute ma chérie, ajoute une pincée de vanille et de l'eau de fleur d'oranger à la pâte, c'est ça mon secret.
The feature also works seamlessly during phone calls, where the phone can accurately translate what you say and then relay it clearly in the translated language.
Hi, are you available to cater a wedding on December 6th?
Hallo, sind Sie für eine Hochzeit am 6. Dezember verfügbar?
Everything is supposed to run locally on the phone, so it will be interesting to see how well it actually works in practice. In the Maps app, it will now be possible for the phone to automatically save a list of the places you've been, so you can easily find them again. Of course, the information is encrypted, so not even Apple has access to it, but unfortunately it looks like that particular feature won't be coming to us in the EU at first. Probably because of Apple's ongoing conflict with the EU Commission about how much they need to open up the iPhone. So let's hope they reach an agreement soon so we don't miss out on more features. Visual Intelligence, which is another of the new Apple Intelligence features, lets you take a picture with your iPhone and get information about what you've photographed, a bit like Google Lens. In iOS 26, it will also work on screenshots. You can even highlight parts of a photo if you're only interested in a specific thing, like a lamp. And if the picture contains text about, for example, an event, your phone can automatically create an appointment in your calendar. At first glance, it looks like this feature will also come to the new countries when we get Apple Intelligence later this year. But as always, it's a bit uncertain. By the way, it feels a bit like a workaround that you can now use Visual Intelligence on screenshots, because when Apple introduced the new and smarter Siri last year, the phone was supposed to automatically recognize what was on the screen without you having to manually take a screenshot. They just never delivered the functionality they claimed would be coming. Apple now claims, by the way, that they actually had a version of the software that worked as they advertised last year, but that it didn't perform well enough when they tested it more thoroughly, and that's why it still hasn't been released. However, I still think it's more likely that they're trying to avoid further scandal and maybe limit potential lawsuits, but we'll probably never know for sure. With iOS 26, we're also getting a new Games app that brings together games, leaderboards, and similar features all in one app, but it really just looks like a redesign of Apple's old Game Center. Games can still be launched directly from the home screen, and they can also still be purchased in the App Store, so it doesn't look like Apple's take on a dedicated game store, like the Steam Store, as the rumors had suggested. There are also a number of improvements coming to CarPlay. In addition to CarPlay getting the new liquid glass design, calls will now be displayed at the bottom of the screen instead of taking over the entire display as they do today. And now it's possible to add widgets to CarPlay. CarPlay will also support live activities, so you can keep track of things in real time on the car's screen, and you'll be able to send tap-back reactions in iMessage. In addition, there are a lot of extra small improvements that Apple didn't go into detail about, but it looks like, for example, the phone can notify you if your camera lens is dirty, so you remember to clean it before taking a picture. And that actually sounds pretty smart. iOS 26 can be installed on iPhone 11 or newer, or iPhone SE 2nd generation or newer. The new features are also coming to macOS and iPadOS. And there's a huge upgrade coming to Spotlight Search on the Mac, so now you can use the feature for much more than just searching for documents and apps. You can now also trigger menu items and apps directly from Spotlight. Or, for example, you can send a message or an email directly from the search field. Spotlight is also supposed to become more aware of what you're doing, so it can proactively suggest the features you need most in a given situation. And last but not least, Spotlight now also gets a built-in clipboard history, so you can find things you've previously copied if you need to paste them somewhere else again. The new Spotlight features don't appear to be coming to the iPad right away, but in return, Apple had an even bigger announcement here. at least for all of us who for years haven't understood why the iPad couldn't work more like a Mac, especially since it has the same processor as Apple's laptops. With iPadOS 26, we finally get the ability to run apps in Windows that we can resize and place wherever we want, just like on macOS. We get a more precise cursor if the iPad is used with a trackpad or mouse, and we even get the same window controls as on the Mac, and even a menu bar at the top of the screen. For iPad Power users, this is huge news that has been long awaited. Apple has also removed another limitation that I previously criticized them for when they launched Final Cut Pro for iPad. Currently, if you, for example, export a movie from Final Cut Pro, which can take quite some time, you have to keep the app in the foreground to prevent the export from being interrupted, and therefore you can't use your iPad for anything else in the meantime. That limitation is gone in iPadOS 26, so apps now have the ability to send time-consuming tasks to the background, allowing you to continue working in other apps. And at the same time, you can see the progress of background tasks in the dynamic island. Another limitation in iPadOS has been that, for example, you couldn't record audio during FaceTime calls. That's something many podcasters would like to use when doing remote interviews. But that will also be possible in iPadOS 26, and the preview app from Mac is coming as well, which, among other things, lets you fill out PDF forms, convert between different file types, or combine multiple PDFs into one. And finally, the Files app has gotten a major overhaul, so it now resembles Finder in macOS more closely. And for example, you can now also add a folder to the dock on iPad, just like on macOS. Just like iOS 26, iPadOS 26 will also be released in a few weeks, and if you have an iPad Pro 11-inch or newer, a 3rd generation iPad Air or newer, or an 8th generation iPad or iPad mini 5th generation or newer, you can update to the new version now. The updated version of macOS will, of course, also arrive this fall, along with updates for both Apple Watch and Apple TV. There weren't any major announcements for those two products besides the new design, but if you use profiles on Apple TV, you can now have the device prompt you to choose which profile you want every time you wake it up, so you don't end up watching content on the wrong profile. Apple Watch 9 and Ultra 2 or newer have received a new gesture where you can dismiss calls and notifications by twisting your arm. And if you have sound enabled on your Apple Watch, it can now automatically adjust the volume of notifications, making them quieter if you're in a very quiet place. The Notes app is now also coming to Apple Watch, and there will be a new workout buddy that can give you encouraging messages. But for now, it's only available in English, so I don't think it's something we should expect here in the EU just yet. Of course, there will also be a new version of the visionOS operating system for Apple's AR headset, but since it still can't be bought in many countries and, moreover, costs a small fortune, I haven't included it here. If you want to watch another video from my channel, YouTube has a suggestion for you right there. And if you want to support my channel directly, the best way is to buy me some virtual coffee. See you soon!